Brothers and sisters, rejoice. We are live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music and wrestling matters. You might be wondering, how do we top this guy named David Ellefson, only a founding member of this band Megadeth? Well, I've got a man here who's going to probably be just as angry, is going to definitely have plenty of other things to say. And usually I do my long intro, but my voice does hurt a little bit from that conversation. And I don't certainly want to be too in the middle of what this man has to say because he has a lot to get off his chest coming up here this Saturday, the biggest show in the IMF's history, Winter Clash 3. And as always, we're donating a ticket right after we're off the air here tonight. We're very excited. There's a lot to talk about here. You'll see some usuals, and I just want to go with it here. And plus, I do have a surprise for you, but it's not guests coming on, but I do have something for you later on because I want to certainly not get on Gavel Payne's bad side because I did see his comment last time we had IMF coverage. But I'm going to go right to you, sir. We are rejoicing because you were here, the Prophet Jordan Crowley, and it's good to be with you once again here on Sportzwire Radio for our Winter Clash pre-show coverage.
Well, Tom, yes, indeed, we will rejoice because I will bring you good news today. And today's good news is this.
Yes, sir.
Tom, you have graciously stepped aside and allowed me the honor of beginning tonight's program. A mercy, truly, because while your usual introductions tend to run about as long as, well, about an Alicia Keys Super Bowl national anthem.
I didn't realize it was that long, but thank you for clocking it, I suppose.
Yeah, without the elegance, the grace, the ability to hold a note.
Well, I don't think my facial hair competes with Alicia Keys' look, so I'll give you that.
Well, if we're being really honest, when you really get going, I mean, it kind of drifts dangerously close to the Roseanne Barr.
Well, I've heard. You would have hit me with Geico Caveman. You would have hit me with something else. I got that. But obviously, we're excited to have you here, and we certainly want to hear some good news. And I'm sure we'll get some bad news in between. And a lot to talk about here. What a busy show, by the way. Obviously, let's get the focus off me. But this is the biggest show in the IMF's history, Winter Clash 3. I mean, this is 3 years in the making almost, especially when we get to the main event. We've got other things in between and a lot to get to tonight.
There is a lot to talk about. Whether we talk about the collision written long before any of us ever stepped into IMF, which is Prince Achia and Tone DeBoss, as I like to refer to them as Ambition, Bravado, and Borrowed Spotlight, standing across from the rock stars of the galaxy.
Yes,
champions who have no patience for pretenders or celebrity tourists. Another thing we obviously have is, not to bury the lead, but the main event. We have Omen Black and Soldier GP locked in an I Quit match. Two men that have bled, broken, buried pieces of each other for well over a year. But
I've seen these men from the very beginning come on here for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you go back, Tom, and you actually kind of go back and look, how many times have they really come to blows in this calendar year?
None, really?
Very, very limited. You have to go way back to the beginning of the year. And as I've said previously, where the mind goes, the body follows. And what Omen has done this year is waged a war on the mind. And this Saturday, nothing held back, no escape, no mercy. At the end of the day, there's really only one truth left standing when the final words are spoken. But we'll get to that later.
Listen,
let's get to that later.
I'm sure we will. There's a lot to talk about on this. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, and there's the poster. And I do want to plug the IMF. We want to always thank them for their support, especially. And if you are out there on Facebook, go out there, give them a follow, go out there and buy a ticket. Also, hit them a sub on YouTube. They just broke 4,000 subs on YouTube. Instagram, where we have the posters, and also check them out on TikTok. And yeah, Omen and Soldier is Omen's platform. So you got to talk about Omen first, right, Mr. Crowley? Because it is his platform.
It is his platform. But real quick, we look at the chat here real quick. I just want to touch base on something here real quick. Sure. You'll notice somebody who's in the chat right now. That Mule McCoy.
Oh, yes, yeah, I see him. Yeah,
you see
he
this?
wanted to. Yeah, no, his words. Dan Crowley. I'm at Raw right now, women's match, so I'm here for a few. I mean, we appreciate him being here. Would you like him not to be here?
He's at the longest running weekly episodic program in television history. Blah 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 blah. Is he really taking his match this Saturday seriously? I mean, if he's sitting where we know he's sitting right now, you can't hear me,
And he commented though.
I mean, he did comment because, of course, he wants to know what I have to say, and he knows he's going to have to watch this back later.
That's true.
Find out exactly what truth is revealed.
That's a very good point, but he was here nevertheless, and Johnny Velocity, Quick Strike Johnny Velocity, who was here on Saturday, wanted to say evening. Also, there's someone that's usually in the crowd that's here, wearing a shirt of an individual that we once knew, an individual that we did.
Oh, hi, Jade. Yeah,
Zilla's here first.
No,
the man we're going to be talking about shortly is also in the chat. Of course, the resident rock star, the first backyard and underground wrestler to come on the platform, a man that you obviously will have a lot to say on shortly. Want to say hello to? Yes, I'm looking forward to that. And the legendary Doc Holliday. And yes, thank you, Zilla. And there you go. And also, yes, and Ox is getting his title back. Well, we'll have to find that out. I mean, there's this guy, Gabe Sayers, a heart stopper, and he had his own promo and his own things to say. And, I don't know.
I mean, we'll see what happens. It's funny that Jade is here.
Yes.
I mean, at least she shows up for shows and stays. I mean, I know she had the towel ready to throw in, but fortunately, I guess for her, she didn't need it last month. But I digress.
Well, I mean, obviously, look, we hope nobody throws in the towel on this episode, and I certainly do want to talk about those resident rock stars, Sean Jovi and Mephisto, shortly. I do, and there's an individual here in the chat that you probably would know. He would be the hall monitor of the platform. His name, in black screen, name is Parsley.
I'll just say I'm really glad he's saying nothing because nothing he has to say. I mean, really, what's he going to do? The only thing he can do at this point is take ownership for the situation he put Soldier in, the situation he put Donnie in. And, it's funny, you'll notice who the very next comment is.
Well, you'll probably be seeing him later, I can guarantee.
Steel got put in, and maybe
Concerto.
Somebody else a little closer, let's say, to Soldier. I mean, really, is that really Omen's fault? But again, I digress.
Well, we're going to definitely talk a lot about that. I mean, there is certainly a lot to talk about there. But, before I get to the tag team championship match, I wanted to get your thoughts quickly on one or two things that are happening. And the first one I'm going to go to is a Midwestern States championship match with JoJo Jackson, a man you know very well, and Jason Myers. And obviously, Mr. Myers has been chasing the United States championship now for the better part of the last 3 or 4 months. And now he has an opportunity to win the Midwestern States Championship from JoJo Jackson. And Mr. Myers a lot better than most of us. And what do you expect here, sir?
Indeed, I do. Let's just say, JoJo's been MIA. Kind of hard to defend a title when you're not there. And you got to kind of wonder, wherever he's been, I don't know. I don't care. Is he going to have any ring rust? Mr. Myers and I have had plenty of conversations certainly within the past few weeks. And, consistency beats every little flash in the pan. And honestly, that's why Jason Myers gets results. And that's why come this Saturday, I truly believe Jason Myers will walk away the Midwestern champion. And, Myers doesn't really need the crowd. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, JoJo really only has the crowd.
Well,
So,
I would certainly think that for you guys, you would like to bring some championship gold back to the house. I would certainly think
absolutely.
that you would like to bring some gold, and this seems like this would be a perfect opportunity for Jason Myers here to bring back some gold and get some singles gold here, and make
Yeah,
you up as a happy man.
absolutely. Right where it belongs.
Well,
Right
we're
where it
going to start.
belongs with a rightful owner, somebody who will restore the honor and the prestige, shall we say, of the Midwestern Championship.
Well, I mean, that certainly sounds all fine and well. We'll have to find out. But yeah, I'm with you. Jason Myers does need a win here, and he does need to bring back some gold for the house. And we'll have to find that out. Another match I wanted to get your perspective on very quickly is one, speaking of people that have always been interesting on Sportswire, that is Freddie Daniels, who'll be going up here against Mason Grayskull. And we know, yeah, Ricky Romero is lurking, and he'll be holding, I guess, the leather jacket again for Freddie. And Freddie, last time at 30 Deeds, came up short against Jacob Collins, a former ROEW champion, a guy that has been sporadically in the IMF. And Jason got sort of a mild upset victory. But what do you think happens here? Because Freddie Daniels, it would almost seem like he really needs a win here. But Mason Grayskull, I mean, he might look to crush some skulls here coming up.
Pun intended. Maybe make some gray matter, some skulls, kind of powder. Freddie. You poor delusional child. Well, I mean, we can certainly touch base on his Instagram post. Big changes in Freddie's future.
Yeah, I was going to pull that up because it seems to me like Freddie could be going places. As I said with David Elson earlier today on Sportswire, it might be have cool will travel because obviously I'm going to put the picture up and
go
Freddie
right ahead
posted it.
because Freddie and Ricky, they kind of have that little underdog vibe.
Yeah. I always liked Freddie on Sportswire. He's always had some character. He's always had, but apparently he may be going somewhere, it seems.
Well, his mouth is going to write checks his body can't cash, and I'm not simply referring to that post. I'm referring to Mason Grayskull. I mean,
well, Mr. Grayskull's a pretty big guy. Yeah, I'm not getting on his lump of coal list this year for the holidays. I certainly don't want that, sir.
Yeah, and as somebody who spent 8 years in the military, I've heard Freddie run his mouth, and now, granted, things are a little different from back in my day. There's not the wonderful thing known as the shark attack.
Yeah, I heard about that in college when I took law. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, the shark attack in the military is unfortunately no more. But I would imagine you still say the wrong thing to the wrong person. Well, consequences are bound to find their proper owner.
Well, are you trying to imply that Freddie Daniels, if he says the wrong thing between now and Saturday, could deal with those consequences? Is that what you're trying to tell us here, Mr. Prophet?
Well, what I'm simply saying is that Grayskull is already coming in with, we'll just say, added aggression and motivation. He's had a little issue with Smokey.
Yeah.
Obviously, IMF management. So, Freddie's looking to kind of, get in the good graces of, the higher ups at IMF. And I think, whether it's Freddie alone or Freddie and Ricky Romero, I think they've bitten off a little bit more than they can chew.
Well, Ricky Romero's an interesting guy. I've seen him for way before he even showed up in the IMF. So I guess he'll be holding the jacket permanently there. I guess I'll leave it at that there. I guess I'll
Is he
leave
going
it
to
at
be
that.
able to hold a jacket with a broken arm?
Well, I think you technically could. I mean, if you go like this, and I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm certainly not implying Mr. Romero will have a broken arm. You may know something that you'll be there.
What's the old what's the '90s movie Rookie of the Year, and he had the cast, kind
Oh
of.
yes, the kid who played for the
Yeah,
Cubs.
that'll make
Yeah,
a perfect coat
yeah.
hanger. Yeah,
He broke his
absolutely.
arm after playing Little League Baseball, and then all of a sudden the Cubs were in dire straits, and they thought it would be a ploy to get the kid in. Yeah, that was Thomas Ian. I forget his last name, but yes, I do remember the movie
Thomas
very well.
Ian, not Griffith, was it?
I think
Maybe
he
it
was
was
in the American Pie movie, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't he in one of those rom-com movies, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, you're throwing me a curveball, but I'll go with it. I don't know if I hit it out of the park, but I at least made contact. But nevertheless, go watch Rookie of the Year, but not on our time at the moment. But all right, so I got that. We'll see about Ricky Romero. We'll see about Freddie Daniels. The match I really want to talk about with you, because I feel like this match is one of the more intriguing matches, not just for Winter Clash, but really in IMF history. And that is these tag team championships that you kind of talked about earlier here. And you see the rock stars of the galaxy and Tone DeBoss and Prince of Chia. You actually did say some nice things, at least about the IMAs when it came to Mr. DeBoss at Dirty Deeds. And we're going to see now all of a sudden Tone DeBoss, who was in Las Vegas a few days ago,
Oh yeah.
performing in front of countless amounts of people, but now is coming to Cedar Rapids and has a chance to perform and now win another belt. Now, you did point out he does have the Intergalactic Jovi's Vlog Championship, but you don't really want to count that one because of who he beat. But now he's got a chance to beat Mephisto and Sean Jovi, who has made statement after statement, not just here, but on his vlog and throughout social media, that he is the only rock star. He is the true rock star of the underground, and he has a chance to prove that. And Prince of Chia and Tone DeBoss, they're stepping in there. And what do you think is going to happen? Because you kind of called what happened with the rock stars of the galaxy a couple of months ago.
I mean, I find it interesting, Tom. Everybody gets upset. Like if I were to tell lies, nobody would care, right? They'd be like, "Oh, he's just rambling on and on and on."
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I wouldn't.
I speak the truth, and the truth upsets people. I explained. I foretold, if you will, what might happen with the rock stars, with Sean Jovi, with Mephisto. And lo and behold, the truth. Now, let's speak a little truth.
Okay,
I'm going to give Tone DeBoss a little credit. Tone DeBoss, here, I'll even give it to you this way. This just jumped in my head.
Okay.
Tone has got bars.
Yeah, he's dropped many bars. He has 2 songs in particular. Yeah, I got that.
Yes, Tone's got bars, but this Saturday, he's going to be seeing stars.
Oh, I see, because Mephisto and the resident rock star Sean Jovi are going to certainly send him back to the rap world, and he might be rapping about what took place in the ring this coming Saturday. I see what you did there. I see what you did.
I give Tone again. I give him credit. His ambition, miles above many others that I've come across in this life. Yeah. His ambition, and a lot of times what he says, is very loud, but experience, especially in that ring, is louder. And this Saturday, the rock stars of the galaxy are going to prove that.
So you're saying then really that
needs to be said.
Well, I understand that, but just I want to make this clear because I know you've said a lot about this, and you did talk about pain. You did foreshadow this a couple of months ago. I got all that, but just as a reminder, it sounds to me what you're saying about Mr. DeBoss is that maybe he should stay in his lane and continue to write songs that maybe the Golden State Warriors, the Kansas City Chiefs, or certainly a certain WWE superstar might want to
Mhm.
come out to or get hyped for, and not so much show up in your world, in a world that the rock stars of the galaxy are the true rock stars. That's what it sounds like you're saying. Just trying to, see if maybe I'm missing something, because I might be. There's a lot of things I miss out there.
That's actually well done, Tom. That's an astute observation.
I see.
That is a phrase I've used quite often. It's something I got from a friend and a fellow military brother of mine. That is simply stay in your lane. If it's
Yeah.
not your responsibility,
Hmm.
don't worry about it. Let the
So
person whose
all
job
right,
it
so
is.
let me ask you one more question, and I got that. I figured that, and I'll read the comments off because I know you'd like me to really quickly. But it seems to me like even though Mr. DeBoss would have a powerful friend like that WWE star was implying, Anthony Luke, and maybe if he asked him for advice or some pointers, we know he was at the Performance Center several weeks ago. Do you think in any way he might have some information that might help him here, and having Prince and Dirty at ringside could potentially help him just a little bit here with this learning curve?
Okay, so I'm not familiar with Tone DeBoss's we'll just say training habits, other than
There
his
you
vocal cords, mind you. Um, I, I I understand he was at the Performance Center, but you don't pick up this craft simply through osmosis. You have to put in the work.
go. Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
and yes, do I think that maybe he got some insight here and there? But just because I've listened to, Metallica, let's say, doesn't mean I know how to play guitar.
Okay.
I can't just pick it up because I've listened to it or I've watched it.
Mm.
You can't do that. And
Right.
especially in this industry, great. Be a fan. Write some entrance tracks. Love it. By all means, you're good at it. You step between those ropes, you're entering, pun intended, a different galaxy.
Well, speaking of that, let me get to a couple comments here before I do something and share my screen shortly.
Sure.
Obviously, you have your sister here. I'm sure that'll be a topic very soon.
Mhm.
Also, poor Freddie. Yeah, I think Freddie right now could be in a world of hurt. I saw that. I saw what Mason Grayskull is, and yeah, he might be. The Freddie, listen, Freddie might not even make it to the service the way that poster looked, and I hope Freddie does. I mean, I always liked Freddie, but I don't know. Also, Jordan showing up and staying feels targeted. Whatever that.
So okay, no. Let's comment on that while we're here, real quick. I mean, albeit briefly, was
Yeah.
it targeted? Gee, I wonder. Notice who again had nothing to say. And as I said before, Tom,
Yes, sir.
only people get upset when I speak the truth. Sounds like Jade's a little upset, don't you think?
Well, I mean, that might very well be a possibility. And speaking of people that I'm sure will definitely be a topic in a little while, the undisputed champion here in the IMF on his platform wants to say he was at the PC, but as a make a wish situation, I'm the real boss. Now, I don't know if that's something we can confirm or not. I'm gonna certainly sidestep that politely, and we appreciate.
Would you like to argue with Omen Black? Is
Oh,
that
I
what
don't
I'm
want to
hearing
argue
from
with
you, Tom?
anybody at this point. No, I don't want to listen. My mentality these days is we don't want to argue with anybody. We just want to keep the gravy train rolling on Sportswire because we do get the big stars and we don't have to pay for them, and they don't look at us as make a wish situations. So no,
And,
sir.
and for the record, I have to point out the
Yes, sir.
genius there of Omen Black. Did you notice how he spelled real?
Yes, I saw
Speaking
that.
of taking shots, well
Well,
done, sir.
I mean, I wouldn't know anything about that. I do love watching the Reels Network. I mean, they play a lot of movies on there. I do like watching that. Hey, I mean, as I joked when Jumpin' Jim Brunzell was here, trying a career at stand-up comedy, just in case this doesn't work out. He seemed to laugh. Maybe you will in a little while. I'm not upset that he wasn't there. I was actually pretty happy.
Well, of course, you didn't have to throw out your shoulder trying to throw in the towel for him.
Well, that was a match once before, but I got all that, and I'm sure we'll come back to some of that later on. I do have a couple of people that want to comment on some things that you said, and I certainly want to bring them up here on stage because for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, we have not one, but two of the reigning defending IMF Tag Team Champions. They are the rock stars of the galaxy, and they're here with us. And we have the resident rock star, Sean Jovi, of course, the first backyard underground wrestler to be on here, the man that is responsible for much of what you see in Mephisto. And they have a lot to say, and I'm going to give them that opportunity right now.
Gentlemen, a joy as always to see you.
Yes, it's not likewise, brother.
Hey, settle down.
Tom, how's it going, brother? It's good to see you again.
Happy Monday, everybody. But, guys, obviously big match. The Prophet had a lot to say, and I'm sure you guys want to show, in particular, one fellow, this guy, Tone the Boss, who really is the boss out there. And I think Jordan did make a point. Whatever you like or not like about Jordan, he did make a valid point in that Tone the Boss is stepping into your guys' worlds. You guys have obviously been mainstays. Mephisto, you were the world champion at this time last year. Sean Jovi, we know everything about your career, and you certainly want to at the very least show Tone the Boss. Who's the boss in your world?
You're damn right. Tony Boy is messed up. He wants to be in a real world match with the resident rock star and Mephisto. He's nuts. He's out of his mind. Prince of Chia doesn't stand a chance, and Tone in the mix, that's even worse. That's the weakest link of them all. You're better off having Dirty back in the match. I don't know what you're doing with this third-rate rapper, like having him as your tag partner. You're nuts.
And by the way, we overlooked one very key detail of this match, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Did you forget the stupid stipulation?
Oh, yeah.
Johnny
Ace and
added.
Dirty are tied at ringside together. Yes, they're handcuffed.
Who in their right mind would want to subject themselves to being handcuffed to Dirty Donnie?
Wow. I mean that maybe that tips the scales a little bit, or maybe at least I guess negates Ace Diamond. But guys, I wanted to ask you this question, especially for Mephisto and you certainly, Sean Jovi. I had heard Tone the Boss perform in Las Vegas this past Friday, and he was talking about how he was a professional wrestler, and on top of that, he already had one championship, and he was going around as if it was going to be a foregone conclusion of what he's going to do out there, and he was calling himself a professional wrestler already. How did you guys maybe feel about that, and maybe some of the statements Mr. the Boss made in his performance, especially for his song Showtime during his performance out there in Las Vegas this past Friday?
You know what I hate the most about it, Tom? He's a goddamn poser now. He thinks he's a pro wrestler. Why? He was a manager at ringside and pinned Ace Diamond when he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Hey, you know what? All the power to you. Have a big ego. Go call yourself a professional wrestler. Call yourself whatever the hell you want. The rock stars of the galaxy know the truth. You're just a third-rate rapper with a fourth-rate soundtrack who is not going to leave with these tag titles.
Honestly, I was embarrassed for him watching those videos of him talking about being this professional wrestler, taking on Ace Diamond and how he's going to take us on Winter Clash, brother. I don't think he understands the kind of pain we're about to inflict on him.
So
Yeah,
I guess
it's one thing for him to want to invade my blog and take up 75% of it. It's out now, by the way. Check it out.
yes.
But he took up 75% of my vlog. We agreed that as the Intergalactic Champion, he should promote it. Good, he promoted it, but he took up all my screen time to do it. And that is some BS. That is taking advantage of a situation, and we don't stand for that. We don't want to be taken advantage of because we already had that happen to us enough this past year. That's why we are acting the way we are now. That is why I hate every single fan that steps into this conversation or whatever. I'm done with everybody. You already knew that from the last time I was on here, Tom.
Well, just a couple of times. And, so I guess then what it sounds like, it's sort of confirmed, whether you like the Prophet or not, because the Prophet was talking about the fact that Tone DeBoss is basically trying to step into your world, but almost step over you guys to go out there and use this as a vehicle to promote himself, but not so much those that have put their blood, sweat, and tears. You know, we always talk about on Sportswire, the blood, sweat, and tears wrestlers put out there to be out and do the things that they want, to give those the opportunity to cheer and root and continue this tradition that we love, the sport of wrestling. And it sounds like what the Prophet is saying, you guys agree with, in the sense that Tone DeBoss is walking in here, trying to step over you guys, promote himself, and just, as you said, Mr. Jovi, pose with the notion that he is a professional wrestler. Now, with the possibility of taking those belts that you guys are holding right now.
Well, real quick, let me just kind of summarize that in one very nice little bow for the holiday season. His celebrity spotlight is not going to save him when these two gentlemen, let's just say, dim the lights.
Well, you know, that was a great Metallica song, Hit the Lights, Hit the Lights. But, obviously, so I guess then there's more than just retaining those tag team championships. You know, Mr. Jovi, you make a point in a previous appearance on Sportswire where you talked about the fact there's only room for one rock star or two rock stars of the galaxy here, especially of the underground wrestling circuit. Right now, you and Mephisto, you guys are the rock stars of the underground. You, Sean Jovi, are the resident rock star. But right now in the IMF, it's not just even about retaining those tag team championships at Winter Clash 3, the biggest show in the IMF's history, but showing, especially Tone DeBoss, that you guys are the only rock stars of the underground.
We're the only rock stars and we're the only wrestlers at the same time. Tone the Boss, he can call himself a rock star, but he's not a wrestler. Not yet. He hasn't wrestled a match yet. And pinning...
That's the biggest difference. We work...
doesn't even count as a match. Go ahead, Mephisto.
We worked for these titles, brother. We put in the time. We put in the sweat. We didn't get a little foundation give me handout like Tone DeBoss got last show, brother.
We worked our way to the top. We destroyed the Switchblades. We went through the real monsters. How real are they now? Not real at all. The real team here in IMF is the rock stars of the galaxy and will forever be the rock stars of the galaxy.
Gentlemen, it's a glorified handicap match. Let's tell it like it is.
It is.
I don't know. If, it's still two people in the ring. I don't know what's going to happen out there, but he's still a person, Tone DeBoss, I guess.
Right, and that kid that won the tag titles with
Braun Strowman,
monster among monsters at the grandest stage of all, did so much in that tag title match too, right?
I wouldn't go that far. I understand where you're coming from, sir, but there's another thing, Mr. Jovi, that you talked about here on Sportswire in a previous appearance, and I'll get to the comments in a minute, is that you've been here for every show. You haven't missed one show yet. Doesn't matter if you're sick, doesn't matter if it's the weather, doesn't matter if it's whatever the excuse is, whether it's who you're wrestling or who you're not wrestling or whatever the circumstance is. You've been here at every single show the IMF has had since it's made the transition to what it is today. And that's also got to mean something to you here, because you are one of those guys that has a 100% attendance record. And it's a very rare thing, and especially in the IMF.
You're right. And like I said, dedication and hard work pays off. That's why I'm a two-time United States champion. That's why I am the tag team champion with Mephisto, because I put in the work. Though it went unappreciated, I still put in the work, whether people want to admit it or not.
Well,
I feel like I should have this spotlight because of all my hard work and attendance. Not even Omen can say he wrestled every show. There was a show he missed wrestling on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have missed their shows. But like I said, I've wrestled every single show for IMF since they've gone live.
Well, you know what? That's why if you like to hit the sub button for Sean Jovi, you can do that. He just hit 900 subscribers. He's 100 away from 1,000. So let's try to get him there. And we'll get to some comments because the prophet wants me to read them or else we'll be getting the hook. Because if I saw him, I would have broke, even though I still broke with Dom being pulled into the ring. I didn't break because of someone I'm no longer contacted or a fan of, but I do wish him the best. Okay, I think we know who that is, right?
Moving on.
I am moving on. Hit the sub button for the IMF. Camo Cam is back. You know, Camo Cam's going to be doing predictions, by the way, on TikTok later this week about Winter Clash. You do want to check those out. And Camo Cam will be there. Camo Cam will be there front and center at Iconics at Cedar Rapids. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but nevertheless, speaking of people that I know all three of you men are not fans of, that is Soldier GP, and we'll be definitely talking a lot about him in a little while. And also, yes, hello. And I'm still rooting for Omen Black and Jason Myers, and I'm rooting for the Rockstar of the Galaxy. So, hey, listen, you know what? We'll take it. I know you fellas are very, very busy, and you obviously have a lot on your plate, and you want to certainly get to this coming Saturday. We may be here later in the week. I'm hoping to be. I may have something that has come up, but I intend to hopefully be here, and we'll see you guys then. But is there anything else you guys want to say, or maybe have any final words for Dirty Donnie, Prince Achia, and especially Tone the Boss?
Well, it's simple. You guys don't stand a chance. I've said it enough. You don't belong in our world, Tony boy. You are a poser for saying that you're a professional wrestler. You're not even a backyard wrestler. You're not an independent wrestler. You're not an underground wrestler. You don't even wrestle on a trampoline. What wrestler are you to even matter in my circuit, in my Wrestling Matters era? So think about that, Tone. If you don't belong in a yard, at the very least, you should just go back to being a DJ or whatever the hell you do on your own time in Vegas. Just go back to Vegas, stay there, get some money, yay. We're going to keep doing our thing and remain the tag team champions. Tell him, Mephisto.
Well, we'll find out, I suppose. But yes, Mephisto.
Prince, this story is as old as time goes, but brother, I've beaten you plenty of times, I think, in the past couple of years. And Dirty, it's the same with you, brother. We were together at one point, but I believe the scoreboard's the same. Now, I don't know why Tone would want to add himself into this, but if I have to beat you up too, Tone, drop you through the ring, give you a tour of the galaxy, brother, that's going to happen. And it's going to be your last tour ever, brother.
Well, we'll certainly see. The tour does come to Winter Clash this Saturday, and it is the Rockstars of the Galaxy versus the newly formed team of Prince Achia and Tone the Boss. And also want to point out, Ace Diamond and Dirty are tied at ringside. They are handcuffed together, so read it between the lines and who that favors, I don't know. But this will all take place this Saturday. I also want to give a big plug to Kiera's Comfy Creations and also Backyard Barbecue. The best barbecue around is Backyard Barbecue. There is no better barbecue than Backyard Barbecue. So make sure you go out there and support them. And Kiera's Comfy Creations, there's always something comfy that you can get, especially now with the weather's getting cold. I mean, boy, I was wearing shorts last week, and now in New York, it's almost like the Polar Express. But where you guys are, I'm not even going to complain. But Mr. Jovi and Mephisto, always good to see you. Best of luck coming up this Saturday. I'm sure we'll see you guys after Winter Clash.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you.
All right. That is Sean Jovi and Mephisto. They are the IMF Tag Team Champions. They are the Rockstars of the Galaxy. Now, Mephisto didn't like you too much there before we move on, but, you know, there was some interesting points.
You know what? Okay, so here's the thing. So
okay,
Mephisto and I,
you have some history.
There's a history, obviously. Yeah. He'll come around. You know, the beautiful thing about it is
yes, sir.
We don't have to like each other to get the job done.
Well, I mean, right now they're focused. I'll tell you what, they're certainly they have a different mindset. They have a different attitude. That goes back to what you did say earlier. So there's no question about that. I certainly gathered that, and these guys, they're all business right now. You're not getting what
Right.
before in the past. So there's certainly a mindset, and they're walking around here like champions. Maybe that will give them an edge. You always see that in sports all the time. You carry yourself like a champion, and that might be the case. And Tone the Boss was in Vegas, and he was certainly dropping bars, as you said. But who knows? He does have powerful friends, and that may help him. And we'll get to some more comments. Yes, we're hoping to be here Thursday, maybe Wednesday, but we're going to be here hopefully. Nevertheless, I do have something that's come up, but we'll have to see what we can do. But I'm not ready for this show. It's family versus family. Well, you go out and buy a ticket, have fun. Just root for the wrestlers. Maybe what's all I could tell you. Tell everyone to come Saturday to see Jovi lose. Now we know, Camo Cab's father is not a big Jovi fan, but right now Jovi does not. He's not playing around.
Okay. So Camo Cam's dad, which
Yeah.
ironically enough says all you need to say about him is the fact that he doesn't even get his own name. He has to be referred to through somebody else. But this man, first of all, doesn't appreciate my commentary. This man doesn't even understand. He doesn't grasp what's been happening right in front of his very eyes. And here's a funny thing. Let's talk about Camo Cam. Okay. I don't know if you saw her interview with me.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Did you hear she asked me about my match?
Well, obviously, I guess the TikToks haven't been updated, but I mean, well, that's why Well, we love Camo Cam. We certainly don't want to get in the middle of that. We are really trying these days not to get into the middle of anything. But I did want to, so you don't certainly turn on me any further, because I know you're not too happy about being here right now. But I did want to give you a plug because you're on the poster also. You have a poster. So, and obviously Gavel will be behind you when you're calling the matches. Obviously with Dirty handcuffed in that match, you won't be next to Dirty. But in other matches, I mean, Tone was calling the match with Il Drago with you. But nevertheless, you will be there. And Gavel will certainly be, I'm sure, if anyone gets in your path or anyone else's that he doesn't like, will certainly be inflicting some major pain, to quote a famous military movie. Remember Major Pain back in the mid-90s?
Oh, I absolutely do. And I also remember the cameo that was done by one Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah. And shout out obviously to Forge Media.
Yes,
another great round of flyers. I actually didn't know this flyer was even being made until it was presented to me. And as far as what Mr. Payne will be doing, I find it ironic, honestly, that Ox told us where he was, because had he not, I already knew. I knew.
You already knew. Wait, how would you know if you didn't know? I'm confused, Mr. Crowley. I know you are the prophet, but help me out here.
Had he? Well, I'd be more than happy to tell you, Tom. See, I keep tabs on people I'm interested in. I keep tabs on things and situations, and let's just say eyes might be on Mr. McCoy as we speak.
Well, we knew that from earlier because we saw him make a cameo appearance in the chat, because we knew that he was elsewhere. But you say you're keeping tabs on people, so I mean, boy, I
already knew where he was. He didn't have to tell me. I already knew.
What, you must know something that none of us do, because if you knew without knowing where he is, I mean, boy.
Oh, no. See, I knew exactly where he was. All I'm saying is he didn't have to tell us in the chat. I already knew.
I see. Oh, okay. Obviously,
Yes.
That's why he's the prophet. And yes, and hello to Omen Black. Yes, hello to Omen. Camo Cam is here, and yes, and so does my dad. What's that supposed to mean? I'm confused on the comment, but what? So does my dad? What? that's supposed to mean. I don't know, but whatever it meant, that's the comment. I'm just reading it off.
We'll get clarification and a translator later for Jade. It's fine.
All right, but there's another match that I really. Speaking of Ox McCoy, that's a great segue because obviously you must know my notes. So certainly, let alone knowing where Mr. McCoy is, you certainly must have my notes. And I really want to talk about this match because I think this might be one of the most intriguing matches of a certainly stacked card, the biggest card in the IMF's history, and that is a match that involves not only the All Wrestling Matters champion, but the IMF Hardcore champion that has won the Heartstopper Gabe Sayers in a fans bring the weapons match. And that is Ox McCoy, who we know right now is not here at the moment because, well, thank you for revealing that. And Ox kind of did as well. But it's a fans bring the weapons match. And there is somebody that you might know also that looks like your sister. And I'm obviously very fascinated about why you think that Mr. McCoy is taking this match maybe all too lightly.
Well, the fact that he's not actively training for this match, this is a hardcore championship match. Now, I know that's Ox McCoy's bread and butter.
Yep.
I'm not going to take that away from him. Obviously, I very well know what Ox McCoy is capable of.
Yeah.
But you would think that the week of the possibility of him regaining his hardcore championship, or what he claims is his hardcore championship, you would think he would be training and preparing. He has brute force, absolutely. But Gabe brings creativity.
He does. Yeah, he's a traveler, a veteran. Yep, I agree.
While I am not really a fan, obviously, of either individual, ultimately I want what's best for my sister. I don't think Gabe Sayers is that by any stretch, but I also know what my sister brings to the table. And that's the wild card that everyone underestimates.
So I guess really what you should be rooting for is that these two men kill each other to a bloody pulp, and whoever walks away with that hardcore championship, somebody in the house can, pick up that championship when it suits them as best as or soon as possible. I suppose.
Oh, I absolutely actually think that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
I'm hoping we have a medic on standby and that both of them need it.
Well, you know what? Gabe has certainly been in his share of matches, and we know Ox has been in his share of matches, and Gabe has certainly been. Yeah.
And what's his moniker again, Gabe?
The Heartstopper. He's the Heartstopper.
Oh, that's right. Maybe his heart will stop. Oh
no, we don't. No, in this case. We certainly don't want that. But, apparently I've received word that there is somebody here that wants to talk about this match and maybe tell us why one particular individual may win. Now, spoiler alert, it is not Ox McCoy. You basically just, spoiled the plan there for Ox. He's at Raw and he's not showing up here. So I'm going to certainly share my screen because we have someone here we have someone here that wants to talk about this match. And I'm going to certainly get to it here because for those that are listening,
this is Gabe Sayers. I'm going to feel like I'm getting blindsided here, Tom. I'm not.
Well, I got to tell you the truth. Almost 99.9% of the time, I don't know who's coming on here. So you and I, we certainly we're both here in the dark. So we don't know who it is. I want to say that we don't give favoritism. We try to be as down the middle as everybody can be on this platform. We do try to be fair. We're not going to say. Well, for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, it is your sister. It's a family affair. But how you doing, Miss Crowley? And obviously you're here to talk about what we're going to see between Mr. Sayers and Mr. McCoy coming up.
Yes. Hello, brother, and happy birthday.
Hi, sis.
I did have a surprise for that, so I'll have to keep you on the screen for that. So we'll do that when you finish talking about this. But good to see you.
So between Gabe and Ox, as everybody knows, I'm in Gabe's corner. And my brother already said nobody thinks about what I bring to the table. I don't know if anybody saw it that well in the last show when I came out with Damian Saint,
Yes.
but I
You
have
mixed
certain
up a little bit
things
in that
that
match.
I keep certain things around my waist. So there's reasons why I have them there.
Are you
Okay.
saying what I think you're saying?
What do you think I'm saying, brother?
Well, I know there's more than one.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
I guess you'll just have to find out.
Yeah. As I said before, Tom, Ox really should try to take this match a little more seriously.
But maybe he's planning in his own way. He certainly is going to have some fans that are going to be cheering for him. They're going to certainly be the 12th man, as they would say in football, coming up this Saturday. Maybe that's what he's relying on. He's relying on the fans, and he's not going to tell us what he's going to do, or he's not going to tell us what fans are going to bring to help him and regain that IMF Hardcore Championship that's meant so much to him.
Tom, you can't prepare. You have to understand, I grew up with her.
I understand that. I understand.
He can't prepare. If she's truly planning on doing what okay, you know what? If she's truly planning on doing what I think she's planning on doing,
Are you saying that Mr.
God
McCoy
help Ox McCoy. That's all I'm going to say is God help Ox McCoy.
Well, wait, are you trying to imply, Mr. Crowley, that maybe as the prophet in your name is that Mr. McCoy shouldn't show up this Saturday? Maybe he should find something else to do. Maybe he should go and do some last minute holiday shopping, or maybe help somebody put the tree up. Are you saying what you know about your sister, that Mr. McCoy shouldn't show up this Saturday?
What I'm going to say is, and only because I don't want to have to deal with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to say is, admittedly, I'm actually a little nervous right now, Tom. You see,
not nervous.
did you happen to see the red vial that my sister was carrying?
Yes, I did watch the match when she came out with Damian. Yes.
Okay, there, as I mentioned before, there are multiple, and she confirmed that, and this is something I already knew. If based on something that she said, I think I know what she's planning, and she has ways to we'll just say boggle the mind. And
well, we put the footage up of obviously your sister out there in the ring just to show it more or less.
And if again, if she's truly planning on doing what I think she is, I actually fear for Ox McCoy's physical and frankly mental well-being.
I will say,
Well,
I wish I
mean,
had
I
one
guess
of my
time will tell.
vials for Damian after what happened there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make that same mistake again with Gabe.
And Gabe is going to know what to do out there. Gabe, also, it's very important for him to stay as a double champion. We know he won the All Wrestling Matters Championship in addition to winning the hardcore title. And we know that's meant a lot to Gabe to be the hardcore champion here. We know that Gabe is certainly one of those guys that many people know, and he's a veteran in a short amount of time. And he's going to stay focused on this match. And he's, again, like a red vial that you have, as focused as possible to stay as a double champion. Yeah, I mean that would obviously be what we would be thinking.
I'm looking right at you right now, just so you know, sis. I hope you know what you're doing, because
You know what I'm doing.
I know the consequences.
Well, the train of consequences are certainly coming down the station here, but I'll get to some comments here in a minute. Varel is the best Crowley ever. I'm pleading the fifth. We love both Crowleys equally here on Sportswire. I'm going to certainly just go right into that. You did in one episode say that I like everybody, so I try my best. But I'm not going down there because she does have that red vial, and I certainly don't want to be certainly somebody who faces that. Not a chair. Those chairs are scary. And the Prophet, Jordan Crowley, and Gavel Payne are pretty good, great, awesome, amazing, and cool. So Zilla just gave us a mouthful there in Zilla's own way. So basically, yeah. But so Miss Crowley, Mr. Sayers will walk away once again as the IMF Hardcore Champion because of what you know and what you'll be potentially doing, according to what your brother has said this coming Saturday. Is that an accurate statement, or am I missing something?
Oh, that's completely correct, Tom.
Oh, okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say about the match before I actually share my screen and hopefully celebrate Mr. Crowley's birthday here for a minute? Is there anything else you'd like to say about the match in particular?
Not that I can think of right now.
Well, maybe that's the best policy. Maybe it's just the best policy. You don't have much to say. Not much to say. Also, Soldier, this was Soldier's word. How is Varel related to this fool? No, that's not true. Listen, that's not true. Thank you, Skulls, who was just refereeing a GCW show. Very impressive there, Skulls. Skulls has come a long way. I appreciate you. And I did want to share, I know obviously you guys are certainly have an interesting relationship, but because it is your birthday, Mr. Crowley, and hopefully I won't have some pain or red vial inflicted on me after this episode, I did want to share my screen because we were putting you in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, Mr. Crowley. So brothers and sisters, hopefully we'll rejoice, and nevertheless we can give you the physical copy when we're off the air. And if you look at it this way, you and David Ellefson joined the Hall of Fame within about an hour and a half of each other. So I mean, if that hopefully it makes you feel about it. Maybe your sister won't inflict some red vial on you after this episode.
Fortunately, I first of all, let me just respond to that. Fortunately, I at least know how to we'll just say properly deal with any of the vials or any of the things my sister may have in store for myself or anyone else. Now, as far as the Hall of Fame, first of all, thank you very much, and I appreciate you finally bringing some legitimacy to your Hall of Fame.
I mean, Mr. Ellefson was in the Hall of Fame today. I mean, the man's only had a multi-platinum record. I mean, let's exactly. Not, he's a very impressive. Mark Farner of Grand Funk Railroad in there. We're an American man. We have some big names in there. Let's not do that, Mr. Crowley. We do love you, though. We do appreciate the gesture, though.
It is appreciated nonetheless.
Okay. No, we appreciate your opinions. We love your opinions, and also put a shirt on. This is a family show. That what I will have to say respectfully, Miss Crowley, it is a family show. He is actually right. It is a family show. I mean, we do we certainly we are a family show. We do have people that come on and ask me who are you again and blah 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 blah. But no, we appreciate that. But obviously, I understand his sentiment. But nevertheless, it's okay. We know you're going to leave soon, and we do respect who you are, and we thank you for obviously showing that you are someone that will do what it takes to keep Mr. Sayers on top as the IMF Hardcore Champion.
Well, to Omen's comment, I am wearing a shirt, so he can just
Well, I think he obviously had his opinions, and he was basically saying for the sponsor's sake that, from his vantage, when obviously, look, we know it's 2025 and we are not going down that road. I don't want that red vial coming my way because, we want to keep the gravy train rolling here. I really mean that at this point. And for real, Jordan, are you adopted? No, that's not true. You're not adopted. Come on.
That's not true. I don't think Soldier has any room to talk about his family tree. Second of all, Tom, the red vial is the least of your concerns.
Okay, well, you know what? I certainly want to keep things going, and obviously we'll talk about family trees, not anybody's particular, but we'll certainly talk about family in a little while. But Miss Crowley, we want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all you're doing. I'm very excited about the show. Give my best to Gabe, as a man I've actually met in real life. Interesting guy, and does a lot of great things. And we'll see if he can continue his run as the IMF Hardcore Champion this Saturday. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on, Tom.
You got it. That was your sister, Varel Crowley, and obviously a rather interesting appearance. And certainly she had the stone cold look in her eyes like a Casey Anthony. I know Casey Anthony is, but we're going to certainly not compare that. And also, you say my name, you say it right, Jordan. By the way, you say it right. That's just what he liked to say.
Considering this man's had so many, no, go back to it. Let's go back to it. So considering this man's been hit in the head so many times he couldn't even get my name right on 3 tries on commentary last month, I don't think I need to take any advice on how to pronounce things and say things properly from Soulja GP.
Well, you know what time it is? We're going to certainly move on from this segment before it gets even more awkward. Obviously, briefly, speaking of people that Damian Saint was in the ring with last time at 30 Deeds. And by the way, it's an anniversary for this fellow. It's actually the 10-year anniversary that took place this past weekend of when Rory Fox was on Talk is Jericho. So I got to give him that. And Rory Fox also had a birthday recently. And Rory Fox will be looking to score some more wins here in the IMF possibly. And he's got an opponent here in Austin Bayless. And you certainly know Rory Fox very well. And what do you think here real quick?
So obviously we've got a couple veterans
yes,
in the wrestling community. There's a little bit of an X factor, obviously, for Rory Fox with having Haley Heartbreaker in his corner. She learned the hard way if you get in my sister's way last month. So that's going to be interesting.
I was watching that match, and Haley was trying as far away possible to not have her heart broken there, which was a great Pat Benatar song, but we'll leave that at that.
Yeah. Now, Austin Bayless. Somebody who, for all intents and purposes, basically had retired. Obviously, he's got some issues that he's dealing with Mr. Fox, and is kind of having to go outside normal channels to try to deal with a situation. So obviously, he's got to bring his problems to the IMF and use the IMF platform and the IMF stage, if you will, to try to rectify a situation that maybe he feels like he never should have been in the first place. I've watched Rory Fox travel up and down the roads.
Man's been on MTV True Life. Man's been on WWE TV. The man's the definition of a professional wrestler. The man has been in this sport for a very long time and is still great out there, looks great, and he's a guy that knows how to take care of business.
He absolutely does. And, I think there's a little jealousy from Austin Bayless as far as that goes. He's got a man that can truly represent his organization and is shining new light on it by coming to the IMF. And for whatever reason, that bothers Austin Bayless. So, I've heard him talk about a lot of things, and Austin keeps trying to make it about respect and respecting the business and the promotion. And Rory is really making it about reality. And the reality is that he is what's best for business.
No, I agree with that. Now, listen, objectively speaking, Rory Fox is what's best for business. I don't think, some people may disagree with some of the things you say in general or tonight, but I am in complete agreement with you. Rory Fox is definitely what's best for business. This man is the definition of a professional wrestler. This man is a legend. This man legitimately has been on the biggest stage, and not many people can say that. And I completely agree with you on that. And that's also why you need to hit the sub button for the IMF on YouTube. Congratulations to the IMF on 4,000 subs. We will properly award the IMF with something our next show. And we will also want people to hit the follow button on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and buy a ticket to the show. We're donating a ticket after the show, and I would hope that you join me and buying a ticket or have your friends. And what a great holiday gift, right? This year to go out. You know, people want to go out to the movies, dinner, gift cards, but what better way in getting a gift for that special someone, that special wrestling fan, by showing up to Winter Clash 3, the biggest show in the IMF's history, the biggest show in Iowa wrestling history, potentially. And you need to go out there and buy a ticket because there can't be no other way, to quote one individual. We'll leave that at that. But no, we didn't mean any harm there. But obviously, there's another match. No, we didn't mean any harm there because we love everybody. But I do want to speak about somebody that is going to be in action coming up that you have some history with. And there's another match before we get to the main event that I'm sure you would have some opinions on. And that is one Felix Jones. Felix Jones is obviously with the curb stop heard round the world. And we saw what Felix Jones did to Damian Saint there just before, the briefcase holder here in the IMF. And Felix Jones, the PWF champion, the guy that makes waves everywhere. And he's going to be wrestling one Anthony Steele, the real deal Anthony Steele, a man you have plenty of history with inside the house, outside the house, and a man that is certainly going to be looking for payback. He's going to be looking for revenge. He talked about that before, Dirty Deeds, and certainly talk to me about what you can expect from Felix Jones against one, the real deal, Anthony Steele.
Well, before we go forward, let's go back to last month, about a month ago. I asked Steele a question. What if? Now, what's ironic is I asked him, what if he loses? And I was actually talking about something completely different. And yet, look what still happened. He was given another opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker, the deck was stacked in arguably Steele and Ox McCoy's favor, and yet Steele still couldn't get the job done. And I asked him, what if? What if he loses? Well, I guess now we know. What if is he's now going to, for whatever reason, try to go after the prince of professional wrestling. A young man who is so graced with talent and natural ability that he is arguably one of the greatest rising stars in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, I think Felix the last year, I agree with you on that. He's a rising star, no question.
And as we all saw a month ago, Felix doesn't hesitate. So with Anthony Steele walking into this match, clearly, well, I guess.
Well, are you trying to say because Anthony is severely wounded from what happened to him at Dirty Deeds, that potentially that could hinder him in maybe really getting a victory that he severely needs against one Felix Jones? Is that what you're trying to imply? Because that sounds like it.
Well, actually, what I was going to say is I'm not worried about him at least being in concussion protocol, considering what happened, because I don't think the man has two brain cells rubbed together to cause a concussion.
Well, we did talk about CTEs with Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, and we know he was on the lawsuit list years ago. But we're not going down that road. But obviously, you're not concerned about Anthony Steele in any way, shape, or form against Felix Jones. Not at all. Just want to make sure.
Why would I be?
Well, because he's looking for payback. He is certainly somebody that's wounded, and he would like to end the year with a huge victory to eventually get himself to where, as you pointed out in one of his most recent appearances here on Sportswire Radio, getting himself a world championship, which is long overdue for him.
Okay, but Tom. Here's what you're ignoring. Okay, he continues to try to get back in the title picture and try to all of these things, and he continues to fail.
Well, you're trying to say he's like Lex Luger, who couldn't win the big one, but you could say maybe that he had different matches he wasn't maybe able to prepare for, different situations, but now he and Felix, there's a score to settle. There's a long-standing history between he and Felix, and now this is where it could come. If that's the case you could make for Steele, it's all going to come to a head here this Saturday, and maybe this is the moment where he's due for one.
In Steele's mind, he's been due.
I've had a front row seat for about 150 of his appearances in 3 years. I understand that point, but in the ring, listen, you can't deny his ability, and this is a match he needs. This is a match that he needs this one, and that might give him motivation. I mean, we're gonna, I'm sure, find out this Saturday.
Wait, but you're talking. You think he needs motivation? What did he have last month?
Well, now
he had motivation.
I'll tell you the motivation.
How many times has he had? How many times has he needed motivation and hasn't gotten the job done?
Well, the motivation would be is what happened to him after the match, and he's got extra chalkboard material. I mean, look what happened to him. Certainly wasn't called for. I mean, some would say. Some would say.
Okay. Wait. Okay. So let's play that out a little bit, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Right. And I want to do it right now.
Okay, we can.
Okay? We're going to do it right now.
We can.
Tom, yes, see, Steele wants, well, I know the way the man thinks. He wants to blame Omen. I'll guarantee it. Because of what happened after the match. Okay?
But that wasn't Omen's actions necessarily. I mean, on all of it.
Well, wait. I mean, it was.
Well,
but is it Omen's fault?
At the end of it? I'm talking about at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm referring to. And you can play the footage, and I'll talk over it. I don't care.
Well, we're gonna play it at some point soon.
Okay.
We are.
But here's the thing. Let's go back and play this out. Okay. Somebody was supposed to be there again. Let's take a moment and shall we say appreciate the shall we say the bravery of a certain individual.
Well, you certainly know something that we don't know.
Let me just go on about this a little bit.
You can go for it.
Exactly who I'm referring to. The man that was supposed to stand toe to toe with Omen Black last month. The man who arrived, looked around.
Yes.
Remembered the month of May. And immediately decided he had pressing business anywhere else. And I mean, truly, who can blame him? Not everyone's built for that situation. Some men face Omen Black, others face the exit sign.
I have seen that before on Sportzwire in the past with individuals. I'll give you that. I'll give you half a loaf.
Okay. So, they chose the one opponent he could actually beat, the exit sign. So let's look at the domino effect, shall we?
Yeah.
The moment he evaporated, the entire night rewrote itself. Suddenly, it's now a triple threat match. Suddenly, Steele gets pulled into the fire.
Yep.
Donnie. By the way, where's Donnie? Oh, and by the way, happy birthday to Donnie as well.
Yes, happy birthday, Donnie. We wish happy birthday.
Ox gets dragged into the chaos. And after the match, Steele, well, his head gets treated like a percussion instrument. Then Donnie gets dropped. And finally, Soldier GP, while trapped and handcuffed, is forced to watch.
And Jason Storm in between that too got dropped. Jason Storm felt some of that, who was here last weekend. I mean, you can also throw him in there.
He took a beat down, fine. But all of this could have been avoided if one brave warrior hadn't sprinted off like he heard the ice cream truck leaving.
Well, I mean, he obviously had his reasons, I guess. He had his reasons.
But let's play this out. Had he stayed, let's just say it. Imagine the miracle. Maybe he wins. Maybe Omen loses the title. Maybe he doesn't then have to escalate. Maybe there's no handcuffs. maybe there's no chair shots.
Or there's
Maybe
no
a
Dominic
certain-
or there's no Dominic curb stop by Felix.
As I was literally just about to say, maybe a certain young man doesn't end up inches from danger and ultimately curb stomped to the mat by his older
And
brother.
we know his heart
Felix
condition.
Jones.
Yes, we know his heart
Yeah.
condition. I
But-
agree.
But no, our fearless champion in hiding, let's just call it, made his choice and everyone else paid the tab. So I wish Steele was here because I'd love to be able to ask him.
Well, it's funny that you say about Anthony Steele because apparently we have received word that there's somebody here that would like to come on and address some of these things. Now, we, as
I had to
always,
say his name, didn't I? He's not even.
no,
that
actually,
guy. I said his
somebody
name and he appeared, didn't I?
You know what? It may not be Anthony Steele. For all we know, it might be the individual that you're implying that left, but we don't know who it is. It could be anybody. It could be Felix Jones. It could be Felix Jones.
Okay,
I mean,
maybe.
it could be
Let's
Felix.
cross our fingers.
Could be Dirty Donnie. Could be Dirty. Wanted to wish you happy birthday.
Yeah.
Could be.
Okay. Fine. Fine.
Well, I'm going to share my screen now because apparently I have received word that someone is here that wants to address some of the things you've said, not only about one particular individual, but throughout the entire evening. And we're talking about none other than the real deal, Anthony Steele, and
Are you related to that Australian buffoon? I said your name and you appear. Seriously?
Well, he's got new lights. I don't know about that.
Look, first of all, you're both wrong. For once, I have to say this, Tom. You're wrong.
Okay.
Because Felix hasn't accepted it, nor has Donnie announced that I get my hands on Felix Jones at Winter Clash. We're 5 days away, Jordan, and 5 days away from me not having a match due to what? Is Dirty Donnie? Does he think that I'm not medically cleared to compete after what transpired last month? Does Dirty Donnie not want to test the waters? Because, as you say, you guys always have a plan, right?
You should know by now.
House always wins, as Jordan has been saying, and so is
But-
Owen. They said that
But
throughout the last year.
here's the thing about it. And Donnie, this is directed towards you. I don't care about what happened last month. Yeah, my neck hurts a lot. The back of my head still rings to this day. But when it comes down to Winter Clash, hey Jovi, let me take your words. I have not missed a single date since I stepped foot into IMF.
You
I have not
missed a few
missed.
times, though.
I have not missed a show, whether I was sick, hurt, or injured. And just because of what transpired last month, that doesn't change the fact that I am still looking for a match.
But again, you've ignored a very key point. And I saw you in the chat earlier shouting out your boy, whatever. Okay. See,
Who the fuck is Justin Parsley?
I
That's
don't
my
know.
boy. That's my boy.
So blame him because he
God,
put you in the
don't blame him.
situation that resulted at the end of last show at Dirty Deeds. Had he been there, none of that happens. So blame your boy for what happened to you. Blame your boy that your neck hurts. Blame your boy that your head's ringing. Blame your boy that maybe you're not going to get anything that you want and certainly nothing that you've earned.
See, that's where you're wrong, though. I've earned my rightful shot at beating the crap out of Felix Jones. And I still don't know why the match has not been made official. I don't know if it's Felix's running or Dirty's doing it himself. But one way or another, I need this match to happen. I don't want it to happen. I want Dirty to give me this Saturday, Felix Jones, one-on-one in the middle of that ring, whether Felix accepts or not. I don't care about anything else going into Winter Clash. I don't care about Soldier GP versus Omen Black. I don't care about Gabe Sayers versus Ox McCoy. I don't care about Tone the Boss and Prince of Chia versus the Rock Shits of the Galaxy. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about your big ass buffoon that walks around beside you that already got fired once because he dropped the table off in the wrong spot. What I want is Felix Jones.
Well, I'm glad that you said that because management is here, and I would love to read off this comment if you would allow me.
Please
Mr.
do.
Steele, you want a match? You know what? Steele versus Felix Jones sounds really, really good, and it does sound like a banger, and I read it with the banger point, but it definitely sounds like a banger of a match, and I think I'd like to see it, and I think that the fans who are going to be there coming up this Saturday would love to see it as well.
So
Go
now,
ahead. Are you
now I
still
know-
going to
I know-
continue to just ramble on and on and on about all
It's
the
not-
things
at
that you
this
earned
point,
and all the things that you
I
deserve
don't.
and
No,
all this and all that and blah 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 blah?
no. See, it's not about any of that anymore.
No.
It's
because
I'm gonna finally answer your question.
Oh, it's about time. Because before you do, ask Tom what I said earlier. Do you hear how upset he is, Tom? Remember what I said? People get upset when they hear the truth. Look at how upset he
He's
is.
motivated. I did say
I
he's
spoke
motivated
the
about what
truth.
happened, and he would like to get his hands on Felix. He has talked about throughout the past few months that he would like to get his hands on Felix. I mean, he has talked about Felix, and he didn't agree with the way Felix joined the house, among other things, and that's a point he's made throughout. I mean, I'm just only telling you what he said.
The answer to your question, Jordan, very, very simple. If I lose to Felix, what happens next? What's the next excuse that Anthony still has, right?
I'm sure you've got plenty written down in a book somewhere.
No,
Anthony
the answer to that is very simple.
You're
If I
gonna
can't
claw
beat-
your way back up from the bottom
No.
again.
If I lose to Felix Jones this Saturday, I'm gone.
No. Wait a minute.
If I can do, dude, for the past
Can I get that in writing?
For-
Can we get a
for the
contract
past-
that?
4 months, I've been fighting this battle that somehow, some way I can't overcome.
Yeah, you've had some tough odds,
And-
injury, other
And
changes. I got that.
if I can't beat Felix Jones, then maybe it's time to take a step back and actually evaluate the situation at hand.
Your injuries between your ears, buddy.
Well, apparently management would like to piggyback once again, and I'll get to some other people. You got it, Steele. Anthony Steele versus Felix Jones, and I'm going to make it even better. It's for the PWF World Championship since Felix wants to complain about championship defenses. Anthony, you've talked a lot about it has been a long time since you've won a world championship. You've talked about what that would mean to you to be a world champion. And regardless of whatever's happened, right, these last few months, you've got an opportunity now to win the PWF World Championship, and I would certainly think that would mean a lot to you this Saturday.
You know what's funny? It's my birthday, and this guy keeps getting championship title matches handed out like it's his birthday, and he's getting all the gifts.
Management they made the stipulation for it. They did. I mean, it's not necessarily he did, and,
Mhm.
and
Well,
apparently
it doesn't.
we love
It
Felix
doesn't,
Jones,
it doesn't
apparently. There's
change.
somebody here that wanted to say what up and wanted to say this. They would like to say this, and Omen Black wanted to also point out, how is he the real deal? There's so many that go by that name. That's his words, but yeah, but you got it, Anthony. PWF championships on the line.
Jordan, Tom, Dirty. This is going to be my decision. This Saturday at Winter Clash. If I do not beat Felix Jones, I'm walking out that door.
No, well, no. We want Anthony to be here, and we would hope that Anthony, would change his mind, but he could win the PWF World Championship, and hey, I don't know about that. I think Anthony's motivated. I did say he's motivated right now. This is a different Anthony Steele than you've seen even in the most recent episodes, because he has something on his mind, and he's talked about that it's basically do or die right now. And those are the most dangerous people in a ring. You know that, Mr. Crowley. You see it
So
first.
yeah, so let me ask him the same question I asked you, Tom.
Yes, sir.
How much more motivation do you need, Steele? For months you've been trying to get back at Omen. You've had world championship opportunities. Last month, the deck was stacked against Omen. You failed to get the job done. Again, remember, I asked you a question. Now, granted, it was in a little different context, but the question still remained. What happens if you don't get the job done? Now you got all this motivation to go after the prince of professional wrestling.
That's exactly it. I just gave you your answer. I have all this motivation. I have everything with me on my side going into Winter Clash. Everything. I have the fans. I have management, as you say. I have the quote unquote foundation. And whether you want to believe it or not, I got Justin Parsley by myself, whether it's physically or spiritually. I have everything going into this.
And what has that done for you?
It has made me understand, like I said, if I can't win, it's time to take a step back. It's time to figure out a different path, because I've stated for months.
Follow the yellow brick road then.
Felix Jones is a guy that is one of the top rising stars in this industry. I've stated it, and I've given the props where they are rightfully deserved. And when it comes to Winter Clash for the PWF title, at this point, I don't care about the championship. All I care about is making the statement that I've made for the past couple months that I've not been able to actually obtain. And that is getting back to a winning schedule for Anthony Steele, getting back to the ways that they were when I first debuted last September.
United States title and was the longest reigning United States champion of all time, and it was the
only time you're going to get a winning schedule, Steele. Let's be real, shall we? The only time you're going to get a winning schedule is if you show up at a restaurant when they open the buffet.
No, that's not true. But Felix Jones is here, and he would like to comment. So I'm going to certainly move away from that, because Felix Jones wants to say this. You know what? It's okay. Dirty wants to give you the match. It's fine, because you are going to end up just like Damian Saint. I promise. And we did play that footage. That's what Felix would like to say. And obviously someone is here would like to say Felix is for sure going to win. But we obviously don't know for sure anybody's going to win just yet. We have to get to Saturday. Just want to objectively point that out.
Short and sweet. See how easy the Prince makes it? Done.
And he still doesn't like Zilla.
Felix, this is directed towards you. I said it earlier this week. I'm going to state it tonight, and I'm going to show it on Saturday. I'm looking for a fight. I'm looking for the best that you can offer. And now that it's because of your PWF title that you are actually taking interest into this, that means you got just as much on the line as I do. So, Donnie, I guess the best way to do it is it's title versus contract. If Felix beats me, Felix has the right to terminate my contract in IMF.
Is this verbally binding? Can we get?
I mean, that's up to Dirty. Listen, that's up to Dirty. But Anthony has thrown it out there: title versus contract. That's certainly.
If I beat Felix Jones, I take the one thing that he holds dearest to his heart, and that is the PWF World Title.
He's been a great champion. There's no question. Felix,
and I'll say this from what you're saying, Jordan, is the same thing that Felix has said a long time ago. He wants me gone. Same thing that Omen said. He wants me gone. You want me gone. Here's your time, Felix. You want me gone. Beat me in the middle of that ring by yourself.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been certainly an interesting episode to say the least. Once again, here on the road to Winter Clash, but it seems like Anthony Steele always has something, and this is certainly one. And he's been here a lot over the past couple of years, and this one might be one we're going to remember for a long time because apparently it could very well be title versus contract. If Anthony Steele defeats the Prince of Professional Wrestling, Felix Jones, he will walk away with the PWF World Championship. The first time he has been a world champion in nearly half a decade. But if he loses this Saturday here, he'll no longer be on the IMF roster. And that is certainly something that's taking everybody aback, I am sure. And that's a reason why you need to follow the IMF and follow Anthony Steele. And obviously somebody is not a fan of you, Anthony, but also Felix, you don't want to cross me. What you did to me during your match with Gabe and then what you did to Damian Saint, you put a target on your back. Be prepared. This is just a warning. So you know what? Maybe that helps Anthony a little bit. You talked about other names. You mentioned the guy that we know on your shirt, but Pharrell Crowley was here, Mr. Crowley's sister, and maybe that could be something that who knows? I mean, and Felix is definitely not happy right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to Felix.
I understand, but Anthony, I obviously know that this will be quite a topic. Is there anything else you want to say? And I definitely didn't know this, and I hope you're going to be here for years to come in the IMF at the very least. I love seeing you out there in the ring. But anything you want to say in toward of this bombshell you've dropped? You've done many of them over the years, but this one is in the ring, and this might be the biggest one you've dropped yet in the ring.
Pun intended. Parting words from Anthony Steele.
Well, he has to get them eventually. I mean, what do you want me to say?
I like it. Good. That was the best speech you've ever had. Right there. Cool.
Anthony, you can speak. Anthony, you've earned that right. You've done so much for us. You've done so much for this great sport. We wouldn't have had David Ellefson today if it wasn't for you coming on sometimes on some of the things you've said. But I'm going to give you that opportunity to say anything you want here. Well, for the most part.
Saturday is do or die for me. Saturday is going to be the best way I can show not only IMF, but everyone that's believed in me for this past, 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah, about 6 months.
That since I left the house, that I can get on a winning schedule. I can do everything I've set out to do, which is win championship gold, which is beat Felix Jones, and which is outweigh every odd that the house has put in my path.
We're going to certainly find out, and that is, a good point.
And Felix, I'm going to continue to say it. You're good. You're great. You're one of the best that IMF has to offer. But I was better than you a long time ago, and I still am to this day.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a match that I think a lot of people are going to be really excited to see, and especially now with the stakes being raised tenfold. And now Anthony Steele could win the PWF championship, or Anthony Steele will no longer be on the IMF roster. I mean, that is certainly a bombshell. And that's another reason why you need to buy a ticket and see the show itself. And we know it's going to be the best show yet the IMF has put out. And Felix wants to say, Steele, better start looking for a different home because you ain't going to be with the IMF after Saturday. Well, we don't know that yet. We want to certainly watch the match to find out. No spoilers, please. 6-7. And about time, and I'm going to leave the House of Wolves alone. Okay, thank you, Zilla, I suppose. And
it's funny. Before you go bye-bye and go bye-bye, I'll just say that your confidence is cute, Steele, but the consequences are very, very real.
That's real.
You're gonna need it.
Well, we want to thank you, Anthony, and we love seeing you out there, and I'm sure we'll talk after Winter Clash, and we'll see how it all unfolds, and maybe you will win a world championship for the first time in quite a while, which is something that you have talked a lot about recently. So listen, like you
Lord
said,
knows
do or
he's had
die.
enough opportunities.
Well, we'll have to find out. But thank you, Anthony, and it's always a pleasure. And we thank you. And there you go. That was Anthony Steele. And boy, Mr. Crowley, before we get to the main event and just talk there, I mean, that definitely took me back. I mean, I thought we would see that match, but then to see that the stakes raised by Anthony Steele, not even Felix Jones, not even by management. I mean, I got to tell you that definitely takes me back a bit. And I've seen Anthony Steele in rare form over the years.
I'll say this about Steele. He takes hits well, which is really fortunate for him because he takes a lot of them. And clearly he's taken one too many blows to the head. Obviously, we know where the last one came from. The man isn't thinking right. And he has now literally written a check with his mouth that his body will not be able to cash. He will not beat Felix Jones. He will not walk away with the PWF World Heavyweight Championship. And he will not have a contract with IMF Wrestling.
Well,
and all I can say again is,
yeah.
Na.
Maybe we'll get the band that performed that song. Well, actually, no, is that Gary Glitter? No, we don't want Gary Glitter. I think if that's Gary Glitter. But I'll tell you what, in the meantime, what we will
I can go upstairs to my drum set if you want.
that might be a better version. But I'll tell you what, hit the follow button for the IMF. And we're very taken aback by the fact that Anthony Steele has made the decision that he's putting his contract on the line here in the IMF, and this could be his last match after Winter Clash, but at the same time, he could win the PWF World Championship and win a world title that he has coveted for about a half a decade. It's been half a decade since Anthony Steele has won a championship, a world championship, that is. And that is a big deal, and Anthony's talked a lot about that. That's why you have to follow the IMF on Instagram, YouTube, hit the sub button for them, Facebook follow, buy a ticket. We're going to send $20 afterwards. We want to support the gang and all the great wrestlers and talents that go out there, Anthony included, everybody else out there. We do appreciate all of you being here. And we do want to, I want to talk about one more match before we get to Omen and Soldier, because I know you have a lot to say on that. And Il Drago and Jordan Netz. Il Drago, had a hard-fought match once, and he's been in all these triple threat matches, 2-on-1s, but now he gets Jordan Netz here, and Jordan Netz and Jason Myers, to me, are almost in the same situation. Anthony said do or die here for himself, but I almost kind of think Jordan Netz, it's do or die to bring singles gold to the house. I mean, what's your thoughts here on Il Drago and Jordan Netz, the final chief, and the fans? Speaking of people that have been behind him, Il Drago had them loud and proud, and then there's Jordan Netz, and what do you think happens here before we talk about the main event?
Well, obviously, ironically enough, the one title that got away, of course, courtesy of Mr. Steele, is still in possession of Il Drago, and Netz has his marching orders, and it's funny because everybody cheers the little lizard, the Samoan dragon. And they can do that till Netz shows up. Jordan Netz shows up with we'll just say a blade to slay the dragon.
Wow, you know what? He is a former world champion, and he is another rising star. We know what he did with those tag team championships, and maybe, just maybe, this is his opportunity to walk away with gold. And what a weekend it could be for the house. Omen walks out scot-free on December 31st with that undisputed championship. Soldier has to say, I quit. Jordan Netz walks away with that United States championship. The Iowa Midwestern State Championship goes to Jason Myers. I mean, it could be the evening and the weekend you've been waiting for with the house. Or, like a house of cards, the cards could crumble. We don't know. I mean, there's so many scenarios here that's exactly why we're excited about this card coming up. And I got to ask you, because I know that you've kind of implied what could happen with these two men, but it's a year in the making. It's about a year in the making to the day. And
it is.
And boy, this feels like, I don't know, Rocky versus Drago. This feels like Apollo and Rocky. I mean, this feels like a title fight that you would have seen, you know, the Rumble in the Jungle, Ali and Foreman, you know, Holmes and Frazier. I mean, Holyfield and Bo, Holyfield and Lewis. I know I'm throwing out boxing references here, but this feels like that. This just feels like pay-per-view quality. I tell you what, this feels like something you would spend $50, $60, $70 to go out there and see, and you're getting it for a fraction of that. And these two men, it's finally coming to a head here this Saturday.
You know, that's such a buildup, Tom, and it really is going to be the be all end all in more ways than one.
I agree.
When this match is over and Omen Black stands tall after Soldier GP is forced to utter the two words I know he doesn't want to say ever. Omen Black walks away with the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, that begs an interesting question, because with the World Heavyweight Championship gone, where does that leave the IMF?
We've talked a lot about this. We know that this is a situation Omen has talked about for the better part of what? 6 months, 7 months, that he is walking out of here on December 31st as the IMF undisputed champion. But we saw what happened to Soldier's son. We saw what Soldier had to witness. And that might, you know, I know I'm going to throw that motivation term out there again, but we saw, you know, his poor wife had to witness Dominic get that curb stomp. We saw what Soldier, you did mention Soldier's best friend. You talked about his best friend, and you said he wasn't there, and for whatever reasons. And now we see Anthony Steele, what he said here. Soldier's fighting, you know, to quote a famous movie, he's fighting for his family. Just like that AJ Lee movie. He's fighting for his family. That's what he's fighting for this Saturday.
That wasn't AJ Lee there.
That's Saraya?
Yeah, that was Saraya.
Close enough. Same thing.
I mean, they did have a match together, I suppose. So I guess I'll give it to you. You get a Lord title, and all of a sudden you just think
I am a Lord. You know, I am a Lord. But it's not about me. It's about Soldier GP. It's about Soldier GP fighting for his family, fighting for what he's had to witness. That's what he's fighting for.
Wait, okay, so let's go down that road. He wants to fight for his family, right? He talks about how the foundation is family, and the IMF is family, right?
Yeah.
So why did it take not one of his friends, colleagues, associates, now I guess we say family members, to take a steel chair to the head?
Donnie,
that wasn't
Storm,
enough. No. I'm referring to Steele at this point.
I got that. No, I was counting.
Referring to Steele.
I got that.
But then that wasn't enough. So let's go after somebody he calls a brother, somebody who he's clearly broken bread with on multiple occasions. Now, I don't know if you've gone back and watched the footage, but I went back and played it very loud. One, because I wanted to hear the sound echo through my house. But
I feel like you would do that. You do like that.
I actually did do that, yes. But I wanted to hear something, and I thought I caught it the night of Dirty Deeds, but I needed to go back. I needed to make sure. And Soldier GP talks about how important his family is and how this roster is a family.
Yeah.
And when Donnie was in position to take that chair shot, did you catch what Donnie said? Should we go back and watch it? Should we wait for that pivotal moment? I'll see if I can point it out for you. It's coming.
We can put the volume up when we get there. We'll get there. We'll definitely get there. But obviously, we're watching Soldier get handcuffed. And that I did mention Jason Storm.
Here comes Storm. Yeah, and look how well this goes for him. Like just right into the proverbial, well, Wolf.
Well, he was
Den.
trying. Listen, you know what? The old college try. I mean, listen, they should have gave Notre Dame a try to get into the college football playoff, but different show for a different time. I mean, what can I tell you? At least he tried. They gave him a shot. Well, he got 3 shots.
Woo.
So,
Yeah,
that's gonna hurt.
That was what we call the very nice hat trick.
Well, yeah, that's
Oh, hi
definitely
boys. How you doing? Nice to see you.
We saw them earlier today. We did see them. Yeah, Sean
Now,
Dovey and
I just want to notice. Oh, look at that nice gentleman right there. Now you'll notice, I obviously was bringing a microphone to the champion Omen Black, but
Yes.
you'll notice something.
yes, sir.
It's almost like I knew what might be in store, because you notice I don't go back over to the commentary table and kind of stay out of the way.
Well, I
'cause,
mean,
somebody needs a
you wanted
cat.
you wanted to see the action, I guess.
I needed an up close and personal view. So,
Well, I mean, maybe,
as I watch this happen, obviously Felix sitting there just comfortable, just taking in the beautiful, just picturesque moment we have here.
he's had quite an
Steel
interesting
laid
history
out
with
on a
his
steel
head.
chair. Oh, nice shot by Nets to the back of Soldier, just for good measure.
It's gonna hurt.
And now here's Omen Black telling
Yes.
him what he wants.
And I'll put the volume up for it.
But it's gonna be my rules.
By the way, shout out to Felix for the
The extra
glasses.
voice.
No, the glasses actually. We got the first person point of view for the meta glasses. Oh,
No, you know what? I mean, good for he is the
Again.
PWF champion. Maybe he gets comp glasses. Who knows?
yeah. But here
Yeah, well, he's
that
going.
wasn't enough. Bye, Steel.
I know we have
Bye-bye.
more. There's more.
There is more. That it could have all stopped right there. That didn't have to happen. But I guess Steele's not close enough. He's not good enough family.
Well, I mean,
So-
Steel and Soldier have an interesting history. But we'll get to Dirty because Dirty's coming up
There
next. And
is.
that's for you.
Yes. Now watch Donnie when he turns his head. Looks right at Soldier.
You ready to run best friends, Buffalo? You ready to go, Buffalo now? Say yes.
Right there. He told Donnie actually said, "Don't do it."
You want to go for the old trifecta there, soldier? You're running up.
Now you see why I don't get involved. You
Donnie
see why now I
actually
don't get involved.
said,
Don't get involved.
"Don't do it.
Yeah, don't
Don't
do it.
give him what he wants."
Well,
It could have all ended right there. This didn't have to happen. And look how scared that young man is.
I
With
don't blame
everything
him.
he's been through.
Yes.
And yet, and there's the wife.
The missus, yes. And she went through a lot too recently, by the way.
Oh, she certainly has. And I'm sure this wasn't easy for her. But again, if the entire roster is family, why did it have to come to this?
Well, I mean, Soldier, he had his. I mean, he was
Go
fighting
ahead,
for his
make an
family.
excuse for him, Tom. Go
He
ahead.
was fighting for his family. Literally, he felt that he didn't want this match because he considers Omen family still. He still considers him family, and he didn't want to go through this. I think that's the point. That's why he didn't want to agree to this and fight Omen for the past year, because he still considers Omen family and he still sees him as his brother. He's talked about how they went on this journey together for 3
So-
years, building the IMF together. Maybe that's deep down why he didn't want this.
So Steele's not family. So Donnie's not family.
Well, Donnie and Steele are two different things. I mean, Steele said that
But
he's
the whole roster is family. That's what he said, isn't it?
This is but Dominic's his son. Dominic is his son, and the Mrs. Soldier GP was also right there too. And I mean, that's his wife. That's his other half. I mean, I just wanted to tell you the definition of blood and family, and that's maybe.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Tom. Those are facts. That is his son. That is his wife. Fine. But he preaches. He's countless times come on here. He's called Jovi his little brother. We see how that played out. He talks about all of these different individuals being
Drago,
the foundation being family.
I got that. No, I know what you're saying. I'm just trying to tell you from what Soldier is in his mind. I know what you're saying, and we've seen what just in Jovi, and Mephisto, they were foundation. You know what time it is, and they were kind of afterthoughts. Omen, we know his story. Last year, and is basically told us and the plan. And Jason Storm, by the way, I'm sure you quote what he said last Saturday about what Omen told him to do. So I got that. I got the whole story down there, but maybe from Soldier's vantage point, that's what he would say. We're going to find out in a couple of days. We're going to find out when we'll see him on here with Omen. We'll have to find out then. I mean, that's all I could really tell you. I mean,
I will say I'm going to be very interested to hear the excuses from Soldier GP.
Well, he's going to be showing up. I mean, he's going to be showing up. It's an I Quit match. I mean, he's going to show up. And
I'm well aware he's going to show up. He's going to show up for the match.
Yeah, he can show up.
He's going to show up to utter those two words. And then he's going to have to face the consequences of watching Omen Black leave with the thing that he holds most dear, the IMF World Championship.
But do you think there's a possibility that Soldier GP, knowing Omen Black as well as he knows him, that he may be able to do something that nobody else has done here so far in this year?
Okay. See.
And good night. Jade wants to say good night. Thank you, Jade. Have a great night. We'll be ending soon anyway.
Good night, Jade. We'll see you Saturday.
Yeah.
You see, Tom, Soldier GP knows a part of Omen Black. He knows, but he doesn't know Omen Black.
Are you sure about that? Because these men have traveled up and down the road together. These guys have gone to different places. These guys have gone out there and they've been front and center. We think about everything that I've seen in the movement of underground wrestling and leading to where the IMF today is and where it will be in 2026 and beyond. These guys were together. I would think that Soldier GP knows Omen Black better than anybody else.
People change. I mean, obviously, the loudmouth that we had on here a little bit ago is proof of that.
Well, I'm saying no comment on that. I think he's an interesting fellow.
I made all the comment needs to be said. And what's funny is even with all of that, he's still trying to convince the people that he actually has changed. Nobody believes him, including me. Just saying.
I see.
Soldier thinks he knows Omen Black. He knows who Omen Black used to be.
But he hasn't wanted to talk with him for the past year. He obviously has to know something if he hasn't wanted to have confronted him. You mentioned the one individual who you said, your things, and Mr. Steele had his shirt on representing him. You talked about him. Jason Storm was mentioned. We talked about him, another individual that Mr. Black has had conversations with. We've seen Drago has had his battles with Omen Black over the past year. Damian Saint has had his battles with Omen Black over the past year. Felix Jones even had. I mean, so there's no question that Soldier knows all those things, and maybe that's why he hasn't won. I'm just throwing out that. I'm not saying that I know. I don't know. You would know better than me. I'm just from what I've at least seen in being on Sportswire. Well, you're obviously you're the brains behind everything.
So
Everything.
let me ask you a very simple question, Tom. I don't even
Yes.
need to use these two individuals, namely Omen Black and Soldier GP, as examples.
Okay.
There are people that you know
Mhm.
very well.
I know many people. I would hope.
You know many people, thousands. We talk about it constantly.
I do have 5,000 in my phone. 5,000.
Great. Yes. Okay.
You're in there. You're one of those people. I
You're-
love. I'm a big fan of yours, by the way. Big fan.
But are there people that you see once, maybe twice, or maybe even get to know very well, and then you don't see them for a year?
But
or you don't
here's the
interact with them
difference. These guys have seen each other over the past year.
But they're
They're
not
in the same locker room.
Okay, but does that mean they're interacting? Does that mean that they're having dinner together like they did before? Does that mean that they're breaking bread? Does
They
that
don't
mean
need to have
that they're
dinner with each other
exchanging
because
Christmas and
obviously-
birthday cards?
But they don't. Well, I don't know about that. You may know that because you know obviously certain things you told us about Ox McCoy. But what I would say to that point, Mr. Crowley, is that Omen Black and Soldier GP, especially Soldier GP, he doesn't have to have dinner with Omen Black. He knows him well enough that
He knew
he has.
who he was. He doesn't know who he is.
He's seen him over the past year. Of course, he knows who he is.
Okay. You're the Reverend Tom Bryce, right?
Yeah, Lord Reverend, but yeah, you can go.
Lord, whatever. Yeah, fine. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Do you go to church, Tom? And
Yeah, I
this
go to
isn't
church.
a religious discussion. This is just going to be a
Yeah.
simple question. Okay.
Sure.
How many hours are there in a week?
168. 7 times 24 is 168.
Wonderful. Okay.
Thank you.
Are there people that you only see for a couple hours on a Sunday morning?
I would say yeah. I would say yes.
Okay. You see them week after week, month after month, year after year, right?
I do a show doing news Wednesday nights with somebody like that. Heshi Tishler.
But do you know that? But do you
I
know
mean, that would depend on the person. That I would say that's a case by case analysis.
Great. Wonderful. Okay. Now let's put in our two individuals here. Okay.
All right.
You see somebody week in, week out, month in, month out, but you don't interact with them. You don't have intimate conversations with them.
Because your instincts are what that person's going to do. Because you know them well enough from the travels and the previous interactions and the journey that you've been on. These men have traveled to places that very few people have done in our circuit. I mean, there's no denying that, objectively speaking. These men are responsible for a movement. These men are responsible for the IMF is today. Now, certainly, Omen has done it from one way. Soldier's done it. Now, I'm not taking a side in particular to saying who's going to win or not, but they have certainly taken their paths, and it's led them to where we're going to see it all come to a head this Saturday night in Cedar Rapids.
And what if Soldier's wrong? What if he doesn't actually know Omen Black? We obviously have already seen that Omen knows how to push the right buttons to get what he wants out of Soldier.
Yeah. Well,
We've
the house
seen
always
that.
wins. You guys have talked about throughout the entire year, the house always wins. You have said
In
that.
the past year, Tom, how many times have you seen Soldier GP press the right buttons to get what he wants out of Omen Black?
Well, maybe he hasn't pushed a button.
Answer
yet.
the question.
I would have to say we'll find out this Saturday.
So in
That's
other
a
words,
great-
the answer is he hasn't, right?
I would say maybe because we still have this Saturday to go. We still have this Saturday, and I would say you
That
could also
wasn't
make
the
the point. You could also make the
You're
point that
dodging
maybe
the question more
he
than
hasn't
Anthony
had to
Steele.
push that button yet. You could say he hasn't had to push the button yet. Now he pushed the button because now we saw what happened at the end of Dirty Deeds, and we're gonna find out this Saturday if you're right. You might be right. You might be right, though, Mr. Crowley. You might be 100% right. You might be, but we're gonna find out. I mean,
Okay, so let's just say that your hypothetical scenario here is correct. Okay, that he hasn't pushed the alleged button yet. Why wait till now? Why wait till the 11th hour
Well, he
Why
did have
wouldn't
his,
he have
well, his
pushed the
son.
button
His
in
son got hurt.
August? Why wouldn't
His-
he have pushed the button in September? Why wait until literally 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks before the end of
I
the
would say this,
year?
when your son gets curb stomped, I think that's where you have to probably push the panic button. Probably. I mean, look, I don't know. No, listen, you might be right. I'm just giving you what it could be from Soldier's side. Now we know Omen's side. I'm not taking a side either way, but I think objectively speaking, the only way we can find out is watch it this Saturday unfold, and we'll talk about it here afterwards in Sportswire. You'll be back, and you might tell us you were right, and the house always wins, and Omen's walking out December 31st, and you'll tell us you told you so.
The beautiful thing about that, Tom, is you
Yes.
said, Omen Black. You know what he's capable of. You think you do.
Yeah, we know. We've seen what he's done. There's that laugh. Let's get to some comments before we sign off. He may share my blood, but I will open him up and take that away from him too. Cryptic writings there. That is, he still won't be able to get the job done because of his one weakness that he's exposed to all. Dear mommy won't let her son attack her younger son. I do not care what mom says. Blood will spill. Also, Felix telling Jade no one asked. Boy, you can cut the show's episode here in the chat with a knife. That's why Zilla says she's rooting for Jordanettes, and she's still a fan of the House of Wolves and doesn't care what Felix Jones says about but obviously a lot to ponder there, obviously, certainly, and I'm excited. I think we will be on here at some point this week, hopefully Thursday, maybe Wednesday, but we'll be on here to let these two men speak. And I think these two men, they're going to have to speak. I mean, there's pretty much, that's what's left here, is to let these men have an opportunity on the platform to do that. You are in the Hall of Fame after, hopefully, you won't turn on Omen Black like Soldier GP last year on me. Hopefully not. You do have that military background, so you probably have something under your sleeve. But nevertheless, is there anything else you want to share or talk about in the lead up to our next time here, and maybe this Saturday, sir?
So obviously, we had our excellent debut there at Backyard Barbecue.
Absolutely great job, by the way, at Iconics. Yes.
Incredible turnout. I am really looking forward to everyone showing up, as I said last month, and just showing that I was right again. But obviously, as already's been announced, all of the tables are sold out. There's limited seating still available. Get your tickets now. I know you've already said you're going to be donating your tickets.
Right after we get off here, I like to give the ticket. Yeah, I like to do that.
Obviously, very much appreciated. We've gone over literally the entire card. When I say this is the greatest show of the year for IMF wrestling, that is not an understatement. That is not a euphemism.
Agreed. I completely agreed. I mean, there's matches here. I mean, you talk about Jordanettes and Il Drago. I mean, Anthony Steele. Shall I say any more? The Rock Stars of the Galaxy against Prince Chia, Tone the Boss with Dirty and Ace tied at ringside. I mean, JoJo Jackson and Jason Myers. I mean, we talked about Freddie Daniels and Mason Grayskull. I mean, there's just, and obviously they made it. How about Gabe Sayers and Ox McCoy? I mean, we can, Rory Fox and Austin Bayless. I mean, it just endless matches. It's just unbelievable, this stuff.
Yeah, and again, as soon as you brought up Ox McCoy, I honestly, I am concerned for that man's well-being.
Well, he's gonna probably have a difference of opinion than you will on that. Hopefully he liked Raw tonight, is all I can say.
I mean, obviously, once I get off here, I'm going to go back and watch the replay. So,
well, we want to let you watch that, certainly. And your sister was here. Shout out to her, and thank you. And we'll give you the physical copy when we're off the air. And please support the IMF on all their social media platforms. We're so thankful for their support and granting us the opportunity to speak with many of the talents that come on here. Sean Jovi, Mephisto Anthony. Although Anthony said he may not be in the IMF much longer, which makes you happy, I'm sure. And, Omen and Soldier and all the great talent. Il Drago, shout out to him. Freddie Daniels, by the way, shout out to him especially because, well, you kind of saw what we talked about there. And Rory Fox, I hope to meet Rory Fox one day on here. Man's a legend. And, but nevertheless, we want to Yeah, I'm sure. I hope so. I got a good resume. My resume is pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean,
I will say, and it's getting better by the day. I obviously watched the Raven interview.
Yeah, thank you for that. It was really cool. Jumping Jim Brunzell.
Things that he had to say, it's ironic. There were certain things that I listened to that, and obviously Raven is someone I certainly can appreciate the psychological warfare that man has played over the years.
Oh, absolutely.
But there were certain things that he said that individuals on the IMF roster really should take to heart. I'll let them decide which ones those are.
Well, since you were in such a generous mood about talking about watching Raven, I'm going to make one more announcement here this evening. Speaking of wrestlers that are going to come on the platform Friday, I'm going to announce it here because you've been so kind in spending this time with us, and hopefully you'll want to come back, and the rest of the roster would maybe hopefully come back after this episode. We're actually, speaking of Raven and speaking of the flock, Sick Boy is coming on to Sportswire Radio Friday night. So Sick Boy is coming on here, and yes, Sick Boy is going to be here. He's going to talk about a lot of things, and he'll be here, spoiler alert, longer than 20 minutes, a lot longer than 20 minutes. So Sick Boy is going to be here. He's going to talk about Raven. He's going to certainly talk about him, and he's going to talk about Perry Saturn, who certainly had we'll talk about a roller coaster career, and he'll talk about Billy Kidman and all of them, and he'll be here.
Perry Saturn, a veteran as well, I might add.
Yes, Perry Saturn, I'm glad he's doing well. I mean, certainly if you watched Raven's documentary, he's coming back up finally. But yeah, Sick Boy is going to be here. So I figure I throw that out there to those who are here with us. And, I want to thank the IMF for their support. So we have Sick Boy, and I have another wrestler coming on that's a big name, but we'll go with Sick Boy first. We got Sick Boy, not as big as Sick Boy, but another big name. And, but let's watch Sick Boy first. We'll watch Sick Boy first. And, you'll probably, maybe hopefully come back after Sick Boy. Hopefully.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you. And we'll be here before Friday with Omen and Soldier. We'll figure it out. Hopefully it's Thursday, maybe Wednesday, but we'll figure it out. There's a will, there's a way. But thank you, everybody, here for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally with all music and wrestling matters. And tomorrow, I'm actually not talking wrestling. I'm talking soccer with an Italian internet. Yeah, soccer. I know. You're going to people are like, boy, what's the matter with you? No, we have an Italian soccer player here on Long Island who's from Italy, and he's going to come on here. And I then have a college basketball coach, but we have an Italian soccer player. We have two of them tomorrow, so I may have to brush up on my Italian, so we'll have to see, but probably not. But thank you, everybody. Hit the sub button for the IMF, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one global radio, and then Sportswire Radio with all music and wrestling. There's the Prophet Jordan Crowley. He is going to be on the call for the IMF at Winter Clash. He also certainly knows a lot about the house, and from what he told us, the house will always win, but we'll find out more about that before Saturday, and we'll